Have you ever longed to hear the best Christmas special of your life? Well, then you're in luck because today is the 4th annual Unleash Christmas Spectacular with my favorite people in the world. That's right, the people who birthed me. It's my parents, Ann and Mike LoGrasso. Now, usually this show gives you tools to love, trust, and know yourself enough to go after whatever it is that's on your heart. Today, we're just here to spread a little joy, love, and have a few laughs as we stroll into this holiday season. So strap in for some Christmas fun, and please join me in welcoming my parents, Ann and Mike LoGrasso. Woo!
Hey, woo!
Hi, thank you for having us. Pleasure to be here.
It's so fun to be in the 4th Christmas Spectacular. Thank you for giving us this opportunity.
It really is a true pleasure to have you on. I spent the last hour and a half wrangling my mom as she got ready and asked me about every shade of lipstick and what hairdo she should have. So, Mom, tell me, first off, are you satisfied with your final look for today's episode?
I guess. I mean, I just want to put a disclaimer out there that I only had about 5 hours of sleep last night. So, I may not look up to par. Maybe I didn't the last 4 times either, or 3 times.
Mom, you've always looked beautiful. You just get in your head.
I have my lipstick in tow right here. So you get my lipstick in case I need to reapply at any time. I just realized that Dad and I sort of have similar colors on. No planning ahead of time, though.
Well, that is just beautiful. And, that's something that we're going to get to, which is your connection, your love story. Actually, a friend, Daniela, reached out and told me she would love to hear you all tell your love story on the podcast. So we are going to get to that in just a bit.
Wow.
But before we do, I want to start us out with segment 1 today, which most people call this F, Marry, Kill, but I couldn't say that in front of my parents, and then I don't want to kill anyone. So we're going to call this segment Kiss, Marry, Slap. Do you know what the theory of this segment is?
I have absolutely
No idea whatsoever.
So basically, it's like you choose one thing that you would want to marry. So like that's the thing that you like love the most and would want to spend every day with. One thing that you would kiss, it's like you're intrigued by, you're like kind of attracted to it, but you don't want to spend every day with it. And one thing that you would slap that you could live without. Okay? So the first one is Kiss, Marry, Slap. Santa Claus, Jesus, and Rudolph. It's a great lineup.
Oh my gosh. Well, I guess I would marry Santa Claus. I would. Well, Jesus is Jesus. I mean, kiss him on the cheek, right?
I would marry Jesus. Marry Jesus, kiss Santa Claus, slap Rudolph. Easy.
Okay, I agree with you. Okay, that's what I should do.
Dad?
I hate to be repetitive, but that was the first thing that came to mind. I would marry Jesus, kiss Santa Claus, and slap Rudolph.
It's the only answer, really.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're doing the movie version of it. It's a Wonderful Life, Home Alone, When Harry Met Sally, which I know this is a hard one.
Oh my gosh,
You're
I
gonna have to
love When
choose.
Harry Met Sally. It's my all-time favorite movie.
Sounds like
I just
you would
saw
when Mary
I
met
just
Sally.
saw it 2 days ago. It's the best movie. It's just so wonderful in every way.
Okay, so I'm guessing marrying.
Mary When Harry Met Sally. Oh, absolutely.
Okay, and then which movie would you kiss? It's a Wonderful Life and Home Alone.
I guess I'd have to kiss It's a Wonderful Life, or I guess, I don't know. And then maybe slap Home Alone, but I don't know. I don't really like that either. So,
well, Home Alone was by far the most violent of the 3, so I guess it deserved the slap.
Yeah.
Dad, go ahead.
So I would definitely marry It's a Wonderful Life because that's my favorite Christmas movie. I would kiss When Harry Met Sally, and we slap that Home Alone.
Okay, and I would marry It's a Wonderful Life. I would kiss Home Alone, and I would slap When Harry Met Sally.
Why?
Because Home Alone is a fixture of my childhood. It's a Wonderful Life. I feel like that has to be out in the world, and it's like a beautiful message, and it's like the same as my core values, so I align with that. And When Harry Met Sally is great, but like it's not as sentimental to me as the other 2.
Gotcha.
Okay, Kiss, Marry, Slap. Turkey, chestnuts, and fruitcake.
I would kiss fruitcake. I would marry turkey, and I would slap the chestnuts.
All right, Dad.
Wow. I think I'd marry chestnuts. I'd kiss turkey, and I'd slap the fruitcake.
Oh my gosh. And I would marry turkey. I would kiss chestnuts, and I'd slap fruitcake. We all had different answers on that. I love the variety we're getting. We're really getting to see the differences between the 3 of us.
Yeah.
Similar yet different. We bring great perspective to the table. And that's what I hope you're getting from this podcast. All right. Now here's the final one. Kiss, marry, slap. Wrapping paper, bows, and gift bags.
I would kiss the bows, I would marry the gift bags, and I would slap the wrapping paper.
Exactly. I would marry the gift bags, I would kiss the bows, and I would slap the wrapping paper.
Wow, this one's tough because I have no feelings about any of these three.
Think about when you're using these items. We love gift bags at this house.
I would marry wrapping paper. I'd kiss the bows. And I'd slap gift bags.
Well, we all kiss the bows, and I think that's where we can agree. And this is a great example of how Americans can finally learn to agree on what they can and agree to disagree on what they can't.
Totally.
Yes,
wow, I think
exactly.
we learned something.
Absolutely. Well, I do have to say, though, I was going to say that, Dad, Mike, you are really
an excellent rapper.
He is a great rapper.
He does all the rapping in our house.
That's my affinity for wrapping
so
paper.
Precise. It's so beautiful. It's a beautiful thing.
He
to
really
see him rap.
He takes such pains with
and
it.
Bose is right there with the wrapping paper, but gift bags, that's just a cop out.
Yeah, and I'm part of that cop out. I only do gift bags.
Ditto.
Yeah, when I wrap people, it's a less good experience for them because my wrapping really isn't very good.
You take right from the Amazon box and you throw it in a gift bag and you call that.
Love that.
I put a bow on it.
A presentation.
That I've kissed. Yeah. All right, so we have to move on at this point.
Okay.
Into what the people have been asking for, which is to hear your love story. And I think, believe it or not, we've never actually told the story of how you two got together. It was like, what, 15 years at least?
About 15 years,
yeah.
I guess.
So let's tell the story of how you went from
not
friends
quite,
to lovers.
Maybe like 12 or something. Okay, well, we met at Michigan State, and he asked me out a few times here and there. I remember one time over Christmas break, he took me to his brother's apartment. We were sitting at
that was the big date.
Yeah. Well, I think we went someplace. I don't know if we went dancing before that or just to grab something to eat, but he basically brought me back to his brother's apartment. I think he was looking for a little makeout session or something, but I wasn't having it. So I remember we were listening to music, and then we didn't stay there that long. And I think he took me home after that. And then I think I went out with him a couple more times, like during the summer. And, maybe I saw him at like a football game here and there. I remember hearing that he was getting married.
Well, this was years later. So fast forward, nothing really ever happened. They were like in each other's circles. They were dating, like going on dates here and there.
I forgot the one thing. Remember, Mike, you fixed me up with one of your best friends. I was living in New York City. I was a flight attendant. You were dating Patty/Trish.
This is another crazy thing about their relationship. My mom's best friend then went on dates with my dad. And then my mom married. It was like, what the fuck? Like, I just can't believe that. But they seem to think it's not a big deal. I think it's crazy.
I think it was pretty platonic, But anyway, yeah, it was fine. So anyway, I was in New York. I was a flight attendant, and Trisha, she was going on a date with Mike, and she said to me, "Oh my gosh, Joanne, you're going to be in town for the weekend. That's great. Mike wants to set you up with his friend." Which he did. And I remember thinking, he's got a lot of nerve. I like him. And he's setting me up with his friend. But I wasn't upset with Trisha. I wasn't upset with her going out with him at all.
That's so weird.
I know.
You should have been.
We went to Pine Knob to see the Beach Boys. And I remember being a little put off the whole time. And I was thinking, oh, well, whatever. Too bad. So sad for him. So anyway, but I feel bad because the guy that I went with was a wonderful, wonderful guy. And
well, you were also living in New York at the time.
I was living in New York. Yeah. So I was just home for the weekend.
So, Dad, do you have anything to say about the story thus far?
First of all, I think she's accurate. We did meet at the bar in East Lansing, and we had a few dates after that time, and we stayed close. But at that point in time, I figured we're all part of a group of friends, and Trisha was one of the friends that I had. We happened to work in the same building, and that gave us the connection, and we did a lot of things together that summer. And Joanne happened to be in town. I always thought very highly of Joanne, and I thought highly of my friend Bob. So I thought, hey, let's get those two together, and
he's a great guy.
We'll have a great time.
Yeah, Bob is wonderful.
So is his wife.
It was all part of a sort of a group of friends.
So then let's fast forward to your next meeting, because you go on this date and then you don't see each other for a really long time.
Right. And I find out through some friends of mine from college, some of my sorority sisters, I found out that actually I was out with a group of friends. And this is after, I think this must have been after I moved back to Detroit, and I was working still for American Airlines, but I wasn't a flight attendant anymore. I was working at the airport. And I heard that, he was getting married. I'm like, oh, well, the nerve of him marrying somebody else, not me. I wonder, oh, well, whatever, too bad, so sad, his loss.
So he was married before he met my mom.
That is true.
Obviously, it ended.
Right.
Trisha, my mom's one of her best friends in the world, who went on a few dates with my dad after my mom had dated my dad, ended up marrying this guy named Larry. And my dad, go ahead now with Larry.
We happened to go to the same barber shop, so he was sitting in the chair, and I was waiting to be the next to get my haircut.
This is after your divorce, but I saw you one time in between. Remember?
Oh, yes.
So you tell your story about when you saw him in between.
So I had dated this guy and I was madly in love with him. And anyway, it didn't work out. I was very upset at the time. I went out with a friend of mine. We went to, was it Bennigan's? And
yes, Bennigan's.
Yeah, and there was a lot of people there that we knew, some from college and things like that. And this obviously was after I was a flight attendant, and I was still working for American Airlines at the airport. And so who do I run into but
Mike LoGrasso.
Mike LoGrasso. And he's like, well, Joanne, how are you doing? And I was so disinterested because I was so upset about this other guy. I couldn't even focus, he's telling me his whole sob story about, his marriage and the divorce. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's really sad. Too bad. So sad. And, but I,
very compassionate.
Yeah, well, no, I was so upset about this other guy. I couldn't even focus, and I was like, okay, well, it's nice to see you. Take it easy. We'll see you later. Bye. Then fast forward to, I don't even know when it was because he obviously went through the divorce. And then he ran into Larry at the barber shop and said, well, geez, I wonder, how's Joanne doing? Is she married with 5 kids now? And Larry said to him, no, matter of fact, she, is not dating anyone right now. And so
he said, well, we should have a drink sometime.
He met him and
I
Trish.
thought, well, that's a good
Mike
idea, but I'm sort of a man of action, and I would like to get her phone number so that I can call her. And by the time we have a drink as couples, maybe we could, Joanne and I could have some chances to get together. It was around the holidays. I had a few.
It was
around Thanksgiving time.
It was the day after Thanksgiving that we had our first date.
I don't know if that's when you got the phone number, but
I got the phone number a couple weeks before that. But we made the contact. You were willing to go out, so we ended up going to a place dancing.
What was up? The steakhouse?
Steak and Ale.
Steak and Ale. We were dancing. We had a nice time.
At the time, I was ahead of my time. I had
He had a car phone.
Floor-mounted
He had a phone in
car
his car.
phone, which was
remember the phones they used to put them in the car?
And nobody had those.
Yeah, nobody had
very
those.
few people had them. So after I gave Joanna a nice hug and said I had a great evening, she went home. I went home, but I made a phone call from my car phone.
I was shocked when I got home.
I left a message
on
my
answering machine. I was like, wow.
And told her what a great time I had and just said some wonderful things, I think.
And asked her out on another date?
Yeah.
And asked her out another. Then it was the holiday season. There was Christmas parties, and we attended some Christmas parties together.
Well, wait. I would like to point out, wow, Dad, some of the men these days could learn a thing or two from you. You had called her before she even got up to her apartment to tell her how wonderful it was.
Yes.
And to set plans for the next date. That's beautiful. That must have made you feel so special, Mom.
I was like, how did he do that? Did he go? Because that was before. I
didn't
realize
you thought he was a magician.
I didn't realize he had a phone in his car. I had no idea.
So how long into your dating process did you officially become boyfriend and girlfriend?
We started dating in November. His birthday was in February 9th. So I got him a clock radio for his birthday, and he freaked out.
Because you thought it was too serious?
Oh,
I thought it was a big commitment.
Oh, my gosh.
A clock radio?
He was like, you got me a clock radio. He freaked out.
What did you do?
I mean,
that's so Aquarius of you, by the way.
I mean, I'm like, I was thinking, a clock radio, really? But anyway, yeah, that's what happened. Freaked out.
Dad, let's break this down. Why did a clock radio set you off? It's not like she bought you an engagement ring. What about that felt too serious to you?
Yeah. What about that felt serious?
It was just very generous. I guess I was not thinking I was still thinking we were in the dating phase, not the, getting more committed phase. And I thought that gift was a little nicer than I expected.
What happened to the guy who called her on the way up the stairs?
I still had a great time and we still enjoyed being together. It was just, for some reason that hit me. My mindset wasn't ready for that, and
maybe it was because of
I don't know if I made that big a deal, but I probably overreacted.
I don't know.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Shortly after that, I think maybe within I
think it was March.
3 weeks after that, 3 to 4 weeks, you all of a sudden just stopped calling me, and I was like, "What the heck?" And we have been dating now since November, December, January, February.
Well, in March it would have been 4 months.
In March it would have been 4 months, and so I remember that. I thought that's odd that he hasn't called me. So my cousin Lisa and I.
Shout out to our cousin Lisa. We love her.
We love you, Lisa.
Super sleuth extraordinaire.
Yeah. She, at the time, she was working at her dad's office, Uncle Sano. Anyway, they had conference calling it. And so she said, okay, this is what we're going to do. You're on the phone. Don't say anything. I'm going to get you on the phone, and then I'm going to call his office, and I'm going to ask for him. And while I'm still on the phone, and then you can hear everything that goes on. I'm like, okay, great. Sounds great, Lisa. So anyway, we do that. And so this woman who answers the phone, basically what she told Lisa is that, well, he's on a conference. We have a sales conference. And then Lisa said, well, where is the sales conference? She goes, oh, it's in Arizona. And Lisa said, well, when will he be back? And so she told us. Anyway, Lisa said, can you believe that? I said, I cannot believe. Son of a gun. I can't believe they had the audacity to go out of town on a trip for like 2 weeks and not even bother to let me know when we've been dating for 3 weeks. And I thought, oh boy.
So how did he redeem himself from that? Because I've heard that story many times, and that
I don't remember. I think
would have been so upset.
I was so annoyed.
I went horseback riding with
He was
Ross
and Bill McKenna.
Yes,
and,
horseback
two
riding.
of his best buddies
through
from
the
work,
mountains, through the cactus, through the desert, and just didn't
and
worry.
never giving old Joanne a
Never,
call.
and so, I'm like, well, oh, well.
So how did you get back together after that? I would have been quite hurt.
I think we ended up not that long after. I asked you to go to Europe with me.
Well, just a second. I remember going.
She's got a few more gripes she'd like to
I
bring.
remember going
It's
to.
quickly turned from the love story into the I will never
How do we
forgive you
ever
for
survive?
blank story.
Listen, I've got a lot of historical anger still. From
Yeah,
all
yeah,
this
go
stuff,
ahead.
I don't think I've ever vented.
Okay,
Got
so
it
this is
out.
the time.
So-
Vent to America
No,
and
I
beyond.
remember during that time going to a party at my cousin Joey's house, and I remember Grandpa saying to me, I remember being really sad because I was thinking, I think we're breaking up. This is it, I remember Grandpa saying to me, "Don't worry, honey. I know it's going to all work out. It's going to all
Grandpa.
work out."
He
Yeah,
was the sweetest.
Yeah.
And
So-
it did.
and so because
Look
we were
who's
sort of
here.
like, I
It's
think-
me, a product of your love.
I feel like we were sort of taking a break. I think we were
so
sort
then
of
how
on a
did
break.
you come back together?
I'm not sure, but I know I asked her.
Love is truly a mystery.
I know I asked her
is.
to go to Europe with me. I'd won a nice trip to.
Was that right after that?
It was in Paris.
So what made you?
The
What
French
made you decide?
Riviera.
What made you think I was worthy enough for you to go to Italy, to go to Europe with you? When you couldn't even tell me that you were leaving
There was
town
that
to go to
clock
Arizona
radio.
for
That
2
clock
weeks.
radio
The clock radio.
reminded me how much you really cared.
Oh,
That's
boy.
an unbelievable story. I don't think I've ever heard that before. I can't believe that a clock radio could Timmy and I became boyfriend and girlfriend and said I love you after 5 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's true love.
I think we went to
I mean, everyone's got a
Europe,
different
and then
story.
at later that year we went to San Francisco, which was a wonderful time. We had a great time
I've
together.
still never been there. Can
and
you
I
believe
think that was the first
Wow.
time I truly declared my love.
You declared your love in San Francisco? I don't remember that.
He
explain
declared
it.
his love.
Can you refresh my
in
memory?
San Francisco.
Refresh my memory.
Did you get on a cable car and say,
No,
Joanne,
it was
I
nothing
love
like
you,
that. I
baby
just
girl?
said I love you.
You did?
Yeah,
Did you say it?
I don't remember.
I think she was shocked.
I don't remember.
Do you remember the first time you said I love you?
No.
Are you serious?
No, I don't. Do you?
I remember when I it was in
San
Francisco.
Francisco.
Did I say it back?
I think you did, but I think you were more shocked, and then I think you
Well,
responded.
you know what?
"I
Mom
love
was
you
like,
too."
she was coming on strong with the clock radios, and then you kind of
I backed off. I
turned the
was
cold
like,
shoulder on her, and she was
"Listen,
like, fine.
Listen, buddy boy. Listen, bucko. I got many have tried, few are chosen, and there's a lot more out there still. And I'm just, like, I was never in any rush to get married.
She wasn't worried about her eggs.
I
Well,
was
you weren't
not
in a
worried
rush
about
to get
my
married.
eggs.
I wasn't in a rush to get remarried, and I think we both sort of were enjoying being together, but no sense of urgency about getting married. And then I think,
But then when you did get engaged, you got married within 3 months. So
then we
riddle
decided,
me that. Riddle me that.
it's time. Well, my dad had a heart attack, if you recall.
Oh.
And I just thought, let's get on with, if we love each other and we want to have a family, I think time is of the essence now. We, maybe should have done it sooner, but, once we made the decision, I thought let's.
Well, I'm very grateful
Well,
for
wait
that.
a second. But the December before we got engaged, you showed me a ring at this Pickering Jewelers.
Oh, no.
You took me. You went this diamond here. You took me to see the diamond, and it was like, there are hardly any flaws or whatever. And I'm like, well, that's nice. I was never concerned with any of that. I was more concerned with the relationship. And you really wanted to get engaged at Christmas time, and I just was not ready. I said, no, I can't do it. I am not ready to get engaged. I just was sort of backing off.
Also, Christmas, no offense to anyone who's done this, lots of love to you, but it's the most basic time of the year to get engaged. That was the one rule I told Timmy. We're not allowed to get engaged at Christmas. I want it any other time, fine by me, but not Christmas time. Also, all the wedding venues fill up around then, so got to do it another time.
Yeah.
So I guess the name of our love story is It's a Long and Winding Road.
I guess that's sort of it.
Road. Boom, 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 boom. Yes, it was a long way to get there. And then once you decided, it was quick because you got engaged and got married in 3 months.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we went to a conference. Okay, that Christmas when I really did not want to get engaged. And then we went to a conference, I think, was it February or March, Mike?
February, yes.
And our good friend Paul was there, and he said to me, "You're scaring me, Joanne. Mike's telling me you don't want to get married now." He proceeded to tell us all the reasons why he thought we should get married.
Thank you to Paul Pellerito. We
Yes,
love you,
we
Paul.
love you, Paul. Yes.
Thank you, because I'm alive now. It's very nice to be
And
here.
then I had a follow-up discussion with Paul, actually a couple months later, and he just said, "Get the ring." And that day I went and got the ring and said, "It's time." And we went to a nice restaurant. I don't know if I made as good a proposal as Timmy did to you, Lauren.
Timmy's proposal was amazing.
Let
me tell you about the proposal.
I did my best, slid that ring across the table. And
Tell him how you did the proposal.
I don't even remember exactly. I wish I would have it on tape because I would love to see this. But anyway, first of all, I was horrified that he did not ask my dad and my mom. I said, I can't believe you're an Italian girl.
So well
you
with
never
your mom
went.
and dad.
My mom and dad loved you, but I still can't believe that you didn't go to them and say, hello, I'd like to, ask Joanne.
Hello.
But anyway, we were at what was the name of that restaurant?
Picano's.
Picano's Italian restaurant. We're sitting at a booth on the side. I remember on the left-hand side of the restaurant by a window. And all of a sudden, he took out a ring box and he slid it across the table and he said, Joanne, we've been dating for a while now, and
for a long time.
And I'm paraphrasing, loosely paraphrasing here. I'm telling you, something like, I think it's time. I love you, and I think it's time. We get married, and I was like, oh, that's so nice. And then he showed me the ring. I was like, wow, beautiful, and yes, of course, I'll marry you, and et cetera, et cetera.
And then we immediately told your parents, and your mother literally jumped up and down with excitement.
She did?
She jumped up and down.
Wait, did we go over there and tell them?
We went and told them immediately, and
Aww.
so although I didn't do it the right way by asking
Grandma and Grandpa,
first,
you two,
they were so excited.
The four of you were truly best friends.
Yeah.
we were.
I mean, Grandma and Grandpa and you two,
We did
and
so
me, I
much
was
together.
the little tag along. I mean, you did everything together. We lived our whole lives together.
Yeah.
It was so beautiful.
Yeah.
So yeah, Dad's right. He probably had the spiritual blessing from them. You've told a lot of little jabby stories, and obviously there's a lot of love because you always kind of held a candle for Dad, even though things weren't quite working out.
Yeah. I did
Until
all
they
along.
did.
I did all along.
So what's your favorite part of the love story? Like, what makes you feel most warm?
Mom, when she loves unconditionally. And, she always showed me, even if she was upset, I didn't really feel it. I always felt the love. And sometimes I guess, when somebody, calls you out on different things, they're doing it because they love you. I always thought she was there for me and would always have my back, and really appreciated that. And she was a beautiful, beautiful person inside and out. And I loved her very much and wanted to spend the rest of my life with her.
That's beautiful. I felt the same way. I mean, I feel very blessed to be married to you.
Aw. So what was your first Christmas together that you both recall?
I don't recall.
Not specifically, but I remember the feeling was one of, love and togetherness. But it was just as a big family group.
Amazing. Well, with that, I think we've decided that we're about to move on to our next segment, which is Tiny Tim's Tales. Hey, creative cutie. Are you looking to launch a new project or product in the new year? Then I have the workshop for you. On Saturday, January 11th at 11 a.m. Pacific until 1 p.m. Pacific, I am going to be hosting a workshop called Kickstart Your Creative Project in 2025. This workshop will be held via Zoom, so it's completely virtual and you can attend from anywhere in the world. This workshop is going to be amazing because it will address practical, spiritual, and emotional factors that inhibit us from sharing our work and help you finally put yourself and your work out into the world. We'll do exercises to help you heal your younger self that's maybe creatively wounded, release self-doubt, and find a practical action plan to move forward toward your goal. The first hour of the workshop will be me teaching, followed by an hour of live coaching. The total cost is $40, but if you enroll by Thursday, January 2nd, you will get $10 off with the code KICKSTART, making it just $30 for this transformative workshop. This is my offering to the community. We need creative solutions to the world's problems, and I truly believe your work is part of that. Sign up at the link in the show notes or at laurenlograsso.com and click on workshops. Again, you can use code KICKSTART for $10 off at checkout. Ready? Okay, we have a song for this segment. We're going to sing it. A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4. Tiny Tim's Tales, Tiny Tim's Tales, Tiny Tim's Tales, oh, Tiny Tim's Tales, Tiny Tim's Tales, Tiny Tim's Tales, Tiny Tim's Tales, it's Tiny Tim's Tales. This is a segment of the show where Tim comes on and shares a tragic moment from his childhood.
Oh, gosh.
Where he brings up a little bit of a Tiny Tim story, and we all react to it. So, Timmy, with that, would you please share your Tiny Tim tale?
I come from a family of 9. One time when I was 7 or 8 years old, the movie The Power Rangers came out. And Power Rangers was my favorite TV show. I loved Power Rangers. When I was 4, I dressed up as the Red Ranger. And so it was the biggest thing, and everybody in school was talking about the new Falcon Zord.
Which is what?
So before the Falcon Zord came out, you had just the traditional Megazord.
What's a Zord?
So a Zord in the Power Ranger land were these prehistoric animals that the Power Rangers were able to grab the power of.
Oh, that's
so there
pretty
was
cool.
Tyrannosaurus Rex Zord, Mastodon Zord, saber-toothed tiger Zord, pterodactyl Zord, and they all combined to form the Megazord.
Okay.
So when the Power Rangers movie came out, because it had always just been a TV show, they introduced the Falcon Zord, which was supposed to be the most powerful of them all, and it was super cool. In the movie, it attached to the back of the Megazord and helped the Megazord fly around to accomplish his missions or whatever he needed. So they released a toy, the Falcon Zord, and the Falcon Zord actually attached to the Megazord. And it was a big deal because the Megazord, to this day, it's probably worth like thousands of dollars if you have an intact Megazord, plus the Falcon Zord.
He's been keeping up with it.
I've been keeping up with it.
If it's in mint condition, folks, go ahead and sell that Megazord.
Speaking of mint condition,
Here comes the tragedy.
I have difficulty asking for presents at Christmas time, hence this segment. And one of these Christmases, I asked for the Falcon Zord, and I didn't think that I was going to get it, but I was a good kid, and I put the Falcon Zord down, and I was so hoping that I would get it. But I'm the third oldest, so if anything, I thought, well, my brother who has the actual Megazord pieces, he would get the Falcon Zord, but I'll put it on my list. Maybe Santa will give me. And so Santa did give me the Falcon Zord.
Wow.
I opened it up and I couldn't believe it, and it was the coolest thing in this box, and the box looked cool, and I was like, oh my goodness, the Falcon Zord. And I opened it up, and all my brothers and everyone in the room wanted to see it, and they were like, Timothy, that's so cool, let's see it. And my older brother just so happened to have his Megazord with him, and he wanted to see if he could attach the Falcon Zord to the Megazord. And I think he did not read the instructions. And so he started to try to attach the Falcon Zord. And I could see that he was applying too much pressure.
Oh, no.
But you were the little brother, so your words were not resonating, I'm sure.
I was the little brother. I didn't know how to speak up for myself.
Aww.
And so I think I said kind of sheepishly, hey, I don't think it's working, or like maybe we should read the instructions, or let's try it later. And my brother kept pushing and pushing and pushing, and the foot of the Falcon Zord, the talon snapped off. And then my brother said, oh, I guess it didn't work, and he gave it back to me. And
that's
that's
so bad.
I was shocked. And I think even at that moment, because again, I come from a family of 9, there was so much chaos that I didn't know how to bring up to my parents that my new toy was broken.
Oh.
And all I could think was that I was so much looking forward to bringing this to show and tell. And I thought I was going to be the coolest kid. And I was like, this is going to be perfect. And I saw all those dreams just melt from my eyes.
That's so sad.
And
And a 1, 2, 3, 4.
Tiny Tim's tales, Tiny Tim's tales, Tiny Tim's tales, it's Tiny Tim's tales, Tiny Tim's tales, Tiny Tim's tales, Tiny Tim's tales, it's Tiny Tim's tales.
Thank you, Timmy, for sharing that heartbreaking story with us.
Until next year.
Was there any resolution?
The foot is still broken, and we still have the toy, and every time I look at it, I just lower
Cry.
my head in shame because I feel the pain.
Maybe we're going to Chicago this year, so maybe we can take a picture with it. And
Which brother is it? I want to talk to him.
My brother Joseph, he's an attorney now, so we have to be careful what we say.
I feel he owes you something.
Me too.
A new one,
at least a new one,
at least.
if not something more.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Timmy. We love you. And this is Timmy's first official joining us on the Christmas Spectacular because we just got engaged.
Woo.
And so, yeah, next year we're going to be married. So maybe you're going to have to pull up a fourth chair.
Yes.
Yes, fourth chair
Absolutely.
next year.
Yeah. Thanks, baby.
Thank you, Tim.
For next year's episode, I want to dive into that story a little more. I got a lot of questions still.
We have a lot of questions that need to be. My dad's feeling it because he's the little brother in his family, and I bet you relate.
I'm very
Are you
upset. I'm
triggered
very
right now?
upset by what I just heard.
Did you, in your family, being the youngest of 3 boys, did you have anything similar to that happen ever?
I don't think I ever had my heart broken like that. That's just to me, it seems to me, and again, as a younger person, maybe you don't want to speak up against your older siblings, but boy, you would think that somebody would try and make amends for something like that. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Oh my gosh. Well, Timmy has an even sadder story that we're saving for next year.
Oh, no.
That's a true Tiny Tim's tale. But this one was great, and we really appreciate him coming in and sharing it.
Thank you, Tim.
thank you, Timmy.
Ghosts of Christmas Past. This is a segment where I ask my parents, what is something that happened a past Christmas that you either never told anyone about, that you regret, or even something funny that you just think should be like out in the open? So we want to bring out some ghosts of Christmas past. And Mom, I know something came to mind for you, so I'm going to let you share first because there might be some people out there that really relate to yours.
So I do remember this one Christmas in particular when,
Ooh, that's the ghost of Christmas past.
when everyone was celebrating Christmas, and I think I was sort of madly in love with this one guy,
How old were you?
probably just a little over 30.
Okay.
Okay. He originally liked me a lot, and then I sort of was dating somebody else, and then he started dating somebody else, and then I was so madly in love with this guy. And everyone at Christmas time, we were having Christmas Eve and then Christmas Day, and I think, everyone in my family had, like, my sisters had boyfriends, or my one sister was married, and my brothers had girlfriends, and I was just feeling really, really sad and alone, and just so sad because I had these a multitude of feelings for this guy, and he, I think, was sort of blasé at that point about it.
Oh.
Yes, and so I remember that I called him he had some kind of minor surgery, so I remember I called, and I believe it was on Christmas Eve, and I just called to say Merry Christmas, hope you're doing well, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and it was a very short conversation and very sad sort of conversation. And I remember my one sister's boyfriend saying, wow, you seem like you're real. He basically noticed that before I made the phone call, I was in one mood. And when I came down from making the phone call, that my mood had significantly changed in the downward mode.
So why is this a ghost of your past?
When you asked me about this earlier today, you mentioned that you might ask
I
this
did
question.
tease the topic to them.
So right away, you said something that was sad or something that was funny or something that was different. That's the first thing that came to mind. I'm not exactly sure why that came to mind, but I do remember how significantly sad I felt. And the joy that I have now, I'm so thankful to, I thank God for my husband. He's a wonderful husband. I thank God for my beautiful daughter. I feel so blessed to have both of you. and of course our family and friends. But I feel so blessed to be married to you, Mike. I feel so blessed I thank God for letting me be your mom, Lauren. It's my greatest joy, my greatest blessing, my greatest honor. And maybe when you asked me that question, I thought I'm so thankful for the two of you and my surrounding family and friends. And I think back to that time when I felt so like desolate and alone, and it's just such a completely different feeling now. So,
oh, mama.
yeah. So
You probably started dating Dad not too long after that,
I
too.
think not too long after that. Yeah.
And I think the cool thing is if there's someone listening, because I really relate to that. I felt like that just 4 years ago. I remember around this time, I was like, oh God, I'm alone. Like, am I ever going to meet someone? And you said to me, you're like, Lauren, you are going to meet someone and it's going to happen a lot sooner than you think. And by the next year, Timmy was home with me at Christmas time.
Yeah.
So it really is true. And I think if there's someone listening right now who feels brokenhearted and is like feeling lonely around the holidays, kind of like what you would say to your younger self, but like what would you say to them about, taking care of themselves and keeping the faith if they're feeling alone and they wish that they had a partner?
A lot of times when something doesn't work out, if you look back on it, you think maybe at the time I thought that was the best choice for me, but maybe it actually was not the best choice. So a lot of times,
I hope not.
No, there's no doubt. There's no doubt in my mind.
But you're saying for somebody
I'm
listening.
saying generically
Yes.
for somebody listening. I mean, in my mind, everything worked out exactly the way it was supposed to be, and I thank God for that. But if somebody is feeling sad about something, then you always have to think, maybe there is a reason for this. And in case of a relationship, if it's meant to be and if it's in God's plan, then it will work out. So I think if you can look at it in that way, and that's sort of a positive way of looking at it, if it is meant to be, and if it's the right thing for me, it will work out. But if it's not, then maybe something even better is coming along.
I love that. It's beautiful. Dad, ghost of your Christmas past.
Well, I would say my first Christmas that I was not with my family, and at that point, I just graduated from college. I started working at IBM. I made a friend that was a little bit older and sort of, I don't know, I was a little bit of a follower at that point in time instead of being a leader, and he had family out in Reno, Nevada. So I explained to my parents I wasn't going to be home for my first Christmas ever, that I wasn't going to be with them. They were not happy about that, but I made my decision. I was being a little independent, being a little bit of a rebel. So we went out west and went skiing, and I spent 3 weeks out there. And we did, fortunately, we were with his family, and they welcomed us and, gave us a beautiful holiday celebration. So it was nice, but I realized, nothing like your own family. And they did the best they could, and he was happy because he was with his family. But I felt sad that I was away. I did enjoy the trip and the vacation and the skiing and all the other things, but something was missing because it was the Christmas holiday and I wasn't with my own family.
Aw. So your advice would be to somebody, if you love your family, find a way to be with them if you can.
If you can, yes. Yeah. Yep. So most Christmases thereafter. I did have a couple other ski trips I took with friends, but again, I think we had our Christmas celebration ahead of the time that Christmas Day actually happened.
Well, that's beautiful. I feel very lucky that I've spent every Christmas of my whole life with the two of you.
Yeah.
And I never will ever spend one without you. I told Timmy
Ditto.
that. I said, I don't care where we go, but at Christmas time, my parents are coming with me. I'm never, ever going to not be with them. And that's a fact.
That's a
Jack.
fact.
So I have no regrets when it comes to that kind of thing because I've come home every single year.
Yeah.
I've been here every single season, 35 seasons and counting,
That's
baby.
right. That's right.
So mine is much more vapid. I remember when I was in 5th grade on Christmas Day, I wore pants. And I remember you and I kind of had a little, not a fight. We never really fought, but we kind of had a disagreement because you're like, it's Christmas. You should wear something nice. And I'm like, no, I really want to wear pants. But the pants weren't even that comfortable. And I was just wearing them because I wanted to be different. And then when I got there, another family member commented and well, it is Christmas. And it was just judgmental.
Yeah.
So part of me regretted wearing the pants, but then part of me wanted to wear the pants even harder because of what that person said to me. So that's my ghost of Christmas past. And it's something I think about once a month. And I don't know why it holds up so much space in my consciousness, but it really pisses me off that person said that to me. So anyway, did you like that?
I love that.
That was great. Yeah.
But next time I would just wear comfortable pants. You know, every single year, honestly, for the past, I think since like 2016 or 2017, I have cooked us Christmas Eve dinner. My mom will collaborate. Sometimes she cooks salmon. She's helped out with some scallops, but I make the bulk of our Christmas Eve dinner.
And it's delicious.
It is delicious. And so with that being said, I want to know, what is your favorite Christmas Eve dinner that I've made? What stands out in your mind is one of the best or the best? And you can choose a few things. I've got a couple myself.
Honestly, Lauren, you are such a great cook, and that is no thanks to me because I hardly cooked when you were growing up.
Cooking
you
is
are an
how I unleash
amazing
my
chef.
inner creative. Like,
Yes.
this is my non-aspirational hobby. Like, I love to cook. It's how I really get out my creativity. I feel alive in the kitchen. I love providing for my family.
And
so tell me what you like.
One thing that I think is delicious, everything you cook is really great, but I love your sardine pasta.
Oh, yeah. Pasta. I think it's pasta alla sarde.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's absolutely delicious. You did make octopus last year. I have to say I was very, very impressed at how you cooked it, handled it. You got directions from Marisa, from her dad, Sam, from my cousin Barbara's husband, and shout out to Sam and Barbara and Marisa.
And from our cousins in Sicily.
And from the cousins in
I combined
Sicily.
the directions from the cousins in Sicily with the directions from our cousins in Detroit. It was a true transcontinental effort.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was delicious.
And
Yes.
it was delicious.
It was.
That was probably that. And then the Hasselback potatoes that I made, I believe in 2017, were my favorite things that I've made.
Yes. And the octopus, I don't really eat octopus, but I did taste a piece and it was delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just high praise coming from a non-octopus
Yes.
eater.
Yes. But I was so impressed. I mean, we were taking videos and pictures. I couldn't believe the way you were handling that whole thing. It was amazing.
It
to
was
me.
pretty
It was-
jarring the way you have to handle an octopus. If you ever cook one, you have to
Yes.
put your hands in the head
Yeah.
and
it
like
was-
dip it into the water.
Yeah.
Mm.
It was,
Yeah.
it was quite an experience. And I think everything that you cook, what else have you cooked on Christmas Eve?
Well, the seven.
She always does a dinner of the seven
Seven
fishes, and
fishes.
everything is
So
so
if you don't know what
fantastic.
that is, for people who are not Italian American, it's an Italian American tradition, the Feast of the Seven Fishes. You basically have 7 different types of fish on the table. So it could all be in one pasta that you make 7 fish, or you do 7 different fish dishes. So we did that one year. I don't think I'll be doing that again because it's just too much work as one person. But it was super fun when we did it.
I'm trying to remember. Do we consider scallops fish?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for
so
sure.
it's seafood.
Yeah,
so-
seafood
and-
of any sort.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's always been delicious.
Aw.
You're an amazing chef, Lauren.
What do you
truly
like
are.
the best, Dad? What's
Well,
been your favorite meal?
I do remember the octopus. That was really a fantastic preparation, and it was a surprise that you took that on, and it was really fantastic. What Mom mentioned, the sardine pasta, I remember that is delicious, and really enjoyed that. And then all the times we had the Feast of the Seven Fishes, and I thought that was always an awesome meal.
Awesome. Maybe I'll bring back the sardine pasta this year. We have to decide what our menu is. Do you have any requests?
Well, that's a staple, I
Whatever
think.
you
Yeah,
cook
I
is
love that.
always incredibly delicious. I have to say. I mean,
Now, I
you
love
really have
tuna,
a
but
knack for
Mom's
it.
not into tuna.
No, I love tuna, canned tuna, but I don't like eating raw, rare tuna. I like everything cooked all the way through, more like well done.
Right.
I
Yeah.
don't like any
That doesn't
fleshy
work with
stuff.
tuna.
And you know, I try not to eat too much tuna because I had mercury overload a few years ago. Like my blood had like 4 times what the levels of mercury you're supposed to have, or like that's acceptable. So I try not to eat a ton of tuna, but
We
I
don't,
do
we
eat
don't
some.
get we don't get our mercury checked, but we do have salmon almost every night.
salmon's one of the better fish to have because it's a smaller fish. But mine has decreased, like it's almost to normal levels now because I cut out tuna, swordfish, all those for a while. Sad, but it worked. Okay, so moving on from my blood. Sadly, we do have a recurring segment that we've done every single year. It's called Mom Explains Movie. So this is the segment where my mom gives a synopsis of a movie and just really does her own version of the story. So Mom, this year what's on the docket is It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Well, I haven't watched this movie in a while.
So you're in a perfect position.
Oh boy, here we go. Okay, so It's a Wonderful Life. So
And Dad's going to be our fact checker for this one because he knows the script and inside and out.
So James Stewart stars in this movie and Donna Reed, and they're both really great in it. And it's a black and white movie, which, okay, black and white is supposed to have some kind of artistic.
I think it was just that's what they had
That's
back
what they
then.
had back then, I guess. So, I mean, it's a great movie, but it's never been one of my favorites. I don't know. It's good though. It's great.
Do you
It's-
not
the
like
message,
it because of the death part of it?
the message is good. I mean, there's a little dark side. I don't like all that dark stuff when it turns into Powderville. It makes me a little unsettled. So, okay, so this is how it starts. James Stewart is
George Bailey.
Thank you. And so George is like, everybody loves him. He's like the cream of the crop, the talk of the town. His dad has savings and loan, right? And they loan people money, and they do something like that. They loan money. Okay. So then George Bailey's brother, I don't remember what his name is, but he's George Bailey's brother. Do you know what his name is? Whatever it is. Okay.
Brother Bailey.
Brother Bailey. So he was out at war, and I must have been during World War II. So anyway, he's a big war hero. He's like, oh, he's a hero. He's a hero. So he's going to come home. And what was the significance of him coming home? He's a big hero. I can't remember even what that is. Something about his brother is a big war hero. But George Bailey was going to go to college and make something of himself. And I think his dad had the business, but then did his dad pass away?
Yes, his dad.
The dad passed away, so then all of a sudden, I know. When did he start dating Donna Reed? He was dating Donna Reed. You know, she turned her nose up at him. Because he was like trying to play it cool, like Michael Grasso.
She probably got him a clock radio.
She probably got a clock radio. So she was trying to play it cool. He was trying to play it cool. She really liked him, and he was just like, He was trying to be blasé. But
he probably was on a trip to Arizona.
Yeah,
didn't tell anyone.
Horseback
riding with Ross.
Yes.
No wonder I like that movie so much.
Yeah,
you really relate.
So for some reason, I remember there was a part where she's behind a bush or he's behind a bush and they're whispering, or I don't remember what was that all about.
Big Bush storyline.
Right.
Anyway, then they go in the house and the mother. Okay, so Donna Reed. I don't remember what her character is, but anyway, whatever the name is. But anyway, Donna
Mary.
Mary, that's right, Mary. Okay, so Mary, this guy who is really rich, and he who is the guy that really likes
Sam
somebody.
Yep.
And he was like some big guy around town. He owned all these things and
big
businesses.
burly guy.
Yeah. And he really liked her, but her heart was with George Bailey. And this guy, Sam, would come into
But
town.
the mother really wanted connect with the
Donna
big
Reed's
rich
mother
guy,
really
Sam.
wanted her to be with this Sam guy. And she was trying to poo-poo the whole George Bailey thing. But, the love, the chemistry, the spiritual connection, the soulmate-like vibes, that was too strong. So, alas, Sam was out the window. Too bad, so sad for the mom. They ended up, okay, oh, I love you. Okay, let's get married. They got married, okay. But before that, George, because he didn't want to get married. He wanted to go to college and go and do his own thing and be a big guy. But then because he got married, but then they were going to go on their honeymoon. Wait, let's see. I'm trying to think. How did that happen? No, yeah. So he was running the dad's business, but he thought his little brother was going to do it. But somehow, I don't know if it's because the brother was a hero or, George Bailey just felt responsible.
He left town. The other brother left town.
Why?
George Bailey had older brother syndrome.
Right.
Yeah. So
he got stuck.
He took over for his dad because his dad passed away suddenly.
So George Bailey took over. Then he and Donna Reed fell in love. They got married, and they were just about to go off on their honeymoon. But then he didn't go off on his honeymoon. They were in the car
because there was a run on the bank.
All the people were like, "Yay, congratulations! Good, have fun on your honeymoon. Good, lots of luck, congratulations." And then there's something happened with the bank, and they couldn't go on their honeymoon. And Mary said, "Oh well, that's okay. We have each other." So anyway, he went back to the bank. He got everything in order, and they lived happily ever after. They had a child. And I don't know, when did the bells start ringing from the angel? What was the angel's name?
Well, that's way at the
Clarence?
end of the movie.
Okay.
There's a whole lot that happened between
let's
them.
not worry about Clarence yet. Okay, so then
let's not.
Okay, let's get back to that later. Okay, so they have all these kids, and they're just living happily ever after, and they're like so in love, and it's just wonderful, and it's just a wonderful life.
Hello.
Okay, so anyway, so it's a wonderful life for George, and they're doing all these things, and then all of a sudden, and then George's uncle, that would be his dad's brother. What was his name? Uncle somebody.
Billy.
Uncle Billy. There's this guy in town, George Potter, a bad guy.
Bad boy.
Just like really selfish, sleazy, vile. But, he tries to like schmooze everyone to make it like he's a great guy.
You know the type.
And so anyway, everybody's like, oh, well, Mr. Potter. He asked George Bailey to come to his office, and he tries to make him a deal where he's going to sell the bank. And George says, nope, Mr. Potter, I'm not doing it. So that really
pissed off Potter.
It totally pissed off Mr. Potter. He was not happy. So he had a vendetta. and he was going to retaliate and get back. Meanwhile, George Bailey's going along. Everything's fine. Uncle Billy was the one handling the funds. So they collect all this money. Uncle Billy. Okay, so then Mr.
Uncle
Potter.
Billy.
Mr. Potter is so shady, so vile. So he has somebody following Uncle Billy on his way to the bank. Somehow, I don't know, Uncle Billy, he's a fun, really an affable sort of guy. Everyone loved him. But he does some stupid things. Like he wasn't paying attention and keeping his mind, on track with what he was supposed to be doing. Supposed to bring it to the back. Somehow, I don't remember, he lost the money.
He lost the envelope.
He lost the
Mr.
envelope.
Potter
How did he
found
do
it.
that? Anyway, Mr. Potter got the money. The big story is, okay, now everybody's money's lost, and it's all George Bailey's fault because Uncle Billy messed up.
Yeah.
So now George is like, everyone's
It's freaking out.
Yeah, he's freaking out. Everybody's coming to his house.
The bank inspectors are after him.
Yeah, the bank inspectors are after. He's in trouble. Nobody has their money. George Bailey feels terrible. And he gets very
Despondent.
He's like, oh, I can't believe this. I'm so depressed. It's like, and the little girl, like she was playing, his daughter was playing the piano. He's like, stop it, because he was so distraught over everything. So then all of a sudden, I don't know what happened.
That's why I could never really watch this movie either. Like, even though
Yeah.
it's a beautiful story and I love the intention of the story,
Yeah.
I remember getting so depressed and so upset as a child
Yeah.
watching this
When he
movie.
Not
yelled
my
at his
favorite.
little
Not my
beautiful little
favorite.
daughter.
I just like would cry
Yeah.
watching. I couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
It's too much for an empathetic person.
Too much. So I don't remember how he started. All of a sudden he's like in this. I don't know if he's he's in some kind of dream state. I guess I don't really know.
Maybe he's channeling.
Maybe he was channeling. I don't remember how it happened in the movie, but anyway, all of a sudden you see that he's all of a sudden not married to Mary anymore, and he sees her, and she's a person who's never gotten married. She's still single. She's a librarian. He goes up to try to talk to her, and she screams, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, she doesn't know who I am." And then all of a sudden, he goes into town, and instead of being the town that he knows and loves, it's a town called Potterville, and he realizes Mr. Potter took over everything.
I just got chills.
Yeah, I did too.
You did?
Yes,
Seriously?
I did.
I just got chills
I got
right
chills.
as you said that.
I just got chills too. Not kidding. It's
Whoa,
totally
did you,
serious.
Dad?
Totally
Yeah.
serious.
You did?
Yeah,
Seriously?
sort of.
No, he's making it up.
No, she's doing a good job.
Anyway, George goes to the bar and says, "Okay, John, whatever his name was, the bartender, give me a drink." And he's
Martinez.
all of a sudden he was realizing that it wasn't really like what's going on. Nothing is as he thought it was. Nothing is as it should have been, or as it appeared that it was.
He's just realizing that?
Well, he's realizing it slowly, but now it's really sinking in. I don't know what happened after he went to the bar. Oh, then this little angel, what was the angel's name?
Clarence?
Clarence, every time he
I don't know why I know that.
there's something about a bell ringing and the angel gets his wings. And I think, the little girl used to say that to George Bailey, his daughter. Okay. So anyway,
Because before this, he was like, it would have been better if I'd never been born.
yes, that's right.
Boom,
That's
boom,
right.
boom, boom,
Oh,
boom,
that gave me
boom, boom,
goosebumps
boom.
just now when you said that.
Yeah.
Yes. It would have been better if I never been born. So then he starts taking him what it would be like. That's what happened. He starts taking him like what it would be like if he was never born. And then he showed what happened with Mary. Mary was a librarian. She never got married, never had kids. And then the town turned into Potterville. And then there was somebody who was going to
Went
jump
and
off the
visit his
bridge.
mother. His mother didn't know who he was.
His mother
'cause
didn't
he
know
never
he
was born.
Okay, I forgot about
she
that
ended
part.
up being what they call her.
I don't know.
Somebody never married.
An old maid?
I don't know. You know it better than I do because I don't like watching it because it's too
Why didn't she
depressing.
marry the rich guy? She still could have been with the rich
She
guy.
still could have been with the rich guy.
Missed
So then-
opportunity.
Then all of a sudden, so the angel's taking him, and showing him what the town was like if he had never been born. Oh, I know. His younger brother fell in the lake when they were little, and he rescued him. And
When he
so-
was alive.
When he was alive. But if he had never been born, then the younger brother drowned.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Exactly.
then all of a sudden, there's a bridge. Now, who's on the bridge? Was George going to jump off the bridge? I can't remember.
That happened before all this.
That was before. That's what started the whole process.
That was the
he
inciting
actually
incident.
jumped off the bridge.
Or maybe not,
and
but
the
it was like
Clarence,
an
the
inciting
angel,
incident.
went in and rescued him.
Clarence jumping after him. Okay, I was thinking that somebody else was jumping off the bridge.
No, that's not right, but I'll correct you later. Go ahead.
Okay, so was Dad wrong?
Yeah, Dad's a little wrong on that.
Okay. So anyway, so
It's just slightly off according to the synopsis I pulled.
okay. So anyway, they're going through all this, and George realizes, like he kept saying, he wishes he were never born. All of a sudden, he realizes that was really crazy, that nothing is worth that, and that he had to be alive. And he was so thankful that he was alive because all these things, his kids wouldn't have existed. Mary wouldn't have gotten married. His brother wouldn't have been saved. Potterville, like
Would have been owned by the worst man ever.
the worst, most vile person ever. And so because he was basically the good versus the evil of Potterville, he had to be there because he made a difference for all these people, for the whole town.
He really changed the lives of the whole community.
He
Like
did.
the whole community would have been turned upside down had he never been born.
Had he never been born. I think there was some kind of car crash, maybe slipping on the ice. I can't
Was there a
remember.
car crash?
Something like that.
Into the tree.
So
Okay.
So then
Trees.
he's like, "Oh my gosh, this is great. Life is wonderful. It is a wonderful life." And he's jumping up and down and so happy. And he sees the bartender and all these people are thinking he's acting like he's crazy. And he gets back to his house, and all of a sudden they see everyone in town is coming and bringing money and trying to make up. They want to help him because they all love him and they realize what a wonderful, beautiful person he is. So his wife Mary is sitting there. I'm getting goosebumps. As
I
I'm
am
telling you. It's
too.
totally. I'm getting the chills. Everyone's putting money for George to bail him out. George Bailey was getting bailed out. There must be some kind of maybe that's why his name was Jay Bailey.
George
was getting
Bailout. George Bailey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, George Bailey was getting bailed out, and then all of a sudden, so he had enough money to pay everyone back because the town loved him so much and was so grateful. And then all of a sudden his brother comes in, his brother who is the war hero came in, and it was a surprise. And all of a sudden his little daughter, I'm getting goosebumps.
Even the
chills again.
inspector came in with the papers that was going to get him in all the trouble. They ripped the paper in half and joined in on the singing.
Yeah. And then what happened is you hear these bells ring, and the little girl said, "Listen, Daddy, teacher says that every time a bell rings, the angel gets his wings."
Aw,
And so
I'm crying.
Yeah, I know. And so I'm getting goosebumps again. And so what was the angel's name again?
Clarence.
Clarence.
Shout out to Clarence.
Clarence got his wings. It is a wonderful life because everyone makes a difference.
Yes.
If one person wasn't here, think of how many lives would be affected in a negative way, and how the world has changed because of individuals.
Now I really want to watch the movie,
I
and
do too.
I'll get through the hard parts where it's really sad so I can see that beautiful part, because it's so true. Every person, I've said this on the podcast a lot this year, but I think it's important to say right now, the chances of you being born are 1 in 40 billion. You are a walking miracle if you are here on this earth, and never for a second doubt your value, your importance, and the difference you make in other people's lives. You being here is so important, and I'm so grateful you're part of this community. Obviously, I'm so grateful you're my parents. And just every human life has so much value and importance, and you're here for a reason.
That's the absolute truth. That's beautiful. Beautifully said, Lauren.
Daddy, what do you want to say? I know it's your favorite movie.
No, it was my favorite movie. I thought Mom did an admirable job of
Thank you.
describing it. I'm glad that everybody got chills because I think it moved up the movie in your estimation from what you started the conversation with.
I will read what the synopsis is because that was my mom's short synopsis. This is what the real synopsis is. George Bailey has so many problems, he is thinking about ending it all. And it's Christmas. As the angels discuss George, we see his life in flashback. As George is about to jump from a bridge, he ends up rescuing his guardian angel, Clarence, who then shows George what his town would have looked like if it hadn't been for all his good deeds over the years.
Oh, that's
Aw,
beautiful.
Wow.
It really
So
is.
a little bit shorter than yours.
Yeah.
But you did such a beautiful job, Mom. I think that might have been my favorite ever Mom Explains movies.
Really? Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
it was the most animated you've ever been.
Oh, I thank you.
Yeah.
I mean,
You really
was-
gave a beautiful performance, heartfelt.
the theme behind the movie is completely beautiful. It really
It
is.
really is.
Yeah.
Okay, Dad, do you have one more thought you want to say?
No, I just, I agree with everything you're saying. I'm looking at the synopsis, and I think there's a lot more substance than what that little short clip says, but that catches the essence.
Catches the essence. Okay, so our final thing, I want to go through what your highlight of the year is, what you're excited for this Christmas, and your hopes for 2025 for yourself and for the world. So let's start out with your highlights. For me, my year highlights were definitely winning the Webby Awards and then getting to go to the Webby Awards with the two of you. That was a highlight for my year because speaking of It's a Wonderful Life, I felt so grateful that I got to find out how much people loved me and supported me for something good. It's beautiful when people rally around you and support you for when you're going through something bad, like what George Bailey was going through,
Yeah.
or when somebody gets sick, or when there's a death. But I feel so unbelievably blessed that I got to see through this good thing, through getting nominated for the Webby Award and needing people to vote for me, how much support and love I had in my life, in my community, with the listeners of this show. and how much people wanted to see me succeed. And that's why I really highly recommend anybody listening shares your dream with your friends, family, and community, because it gives them an opportunity to show up for you, show you how much they love you, and co-create with you to make your dreams come true. And that was the biggest takeaway for me. Like, I could not believe how much people showed up for me, to the point where I was able to win over a show that had a lot more followers, had a lot more people, like it was a much bigger company that was producing it.
Didn't they have like almost 100,000 employees?
I don't know how many employees they had, but like their Substack page had like almost 100,000 followers.
Yeah.
So like our mighty community
Mhm.
was able to like overcome that, which is pretty incredible. And just how much people showed up for me, like how they got their communities to show up for me. Like the fact that we were able to beat out all those companies that have like multiple employees, huge followers, it was pretty incredible. So I'm just so, so grateful for that. And then obviously, like my other thing that I loved was getting engaged to Timmy, and to have you two there. It was just so special.
Mm.
So those were definitely the highlights of my year. How about both of you?
Those are my highlights too, because I'm always like one of your biggest fans. I think
You are my biggest fan.
I'm your biggest
There's
fan.
no doubt.
I am champion for you, and it brings me great joy because you are the hardest working person I know. You work so hard. You have multiple things that you're doing. I know that, you started this podcast 5 years ago by yourself, totally independent of anyone else, and you've had multiple awards for it. But the Webby Awards, which is like the Oscars to the podcast industry, is the most important award. So not only did you get the People's Voice Award, which is the award that we were asking everyone to vote for you for, but you also got the award in your category for creativity and marketing, which is voted for by the International Association of Digital Arts and Sciences, I think is the name of
The
it.
Academy, yeah.
It's voted for by the Academy of Digital Arts and Sciences. I think I don't know if I'm saying it correctly, but that was huge because you did win over all those other companies who were backed by huge corporations and conglomerates. So I was so happy to see you, because you work so hard and you're so talented. And your content is so authentic. And also that proposal that Tim planned for you was so
And we haven't
beautiful.
even told the story on the show. We'll have to do that. Maybe we'll do it for Valentine's Day.
I was so honored to be there. I felt so blessed to be there. I was so happy and so thankful to be there for that beautiful, beautiful proposal. And I'm so excited for you and Timmy that you're engaged, and so excited for, your wedding this coming year.
Yeah. That's what I'm excited for 2025. Dad, what has been the highlight of
Well,
your
I
2024?
think it's the same two events. I think the Webby Awards was David versus Goliath story where the little guy, got their resources together and their community together and beat the big boys.
In the words of Michael Scott, David will always beat Goliath.
I love that.
So, I thought that was an accomplishment, and then to be recognized by the Academy on top of that, and just the fact that we were all able to celebrate
That
together.
was so cool.
It
That
was
was a
just-
huge
It
highlight.
was a
too.
very
fun.
joyous
We
occasion
had the
and
best time.
just a lot of fun and very well deserved. And then as far as the engagement, to be there for really one of the happiest moments of your life, have Mom and I actually be a pretty important part of it because
Huge.
we were part of the setup that produced a surprise, which I thought, was genuinely a beautiful.
Tim
and
planned the whole thing, but he made us
beautiful
part of it, which we
moment.
really
So,
appreciated.
And next year, the wedding's going to be just, already in advance, we know it's going to be the highlight of the year for sure.
Yeah. Can't wait. I think we are locking down our venue, so that's pretty exciting.
So I think we got a lot of good events coming up in the next few years.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the Webby Awards, like being at them too physically with the three of you was just so incredible.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and beautiful. What are you excited for this Christmas?
Just to spend time with you and Tim and the four of us together, and also with extended family and relatives and friends to, reconnect, and also looking forward to the new year.
Deal with the structural issues.
Deal with my structural issues, get some acupuncture, try to get some shots in my knee, and, boom. And
She'll be jumping on a jumping jack.
yeah, hopefully I can
jumping on a trampoline.
dance up a storm at your wedding.
Hell yeah. I'm anticipating it.
Well, we're a very small knit group, just us, you being our only child. That Timmy's going to become a very important part of our life. So
Already
I think
is.
it's important that we get to meet his family and know more about
Excited
where
for
he
that.
came from. And, it's going to be really, really a lot of fun to meet everybody in the Blewett family.
We're taking my parents home to Chicago, and we're going to all hang out with the
We're
Blewetts.
excited to hang out with them. Yeah.
So your hopes for 2025 is have a kick-ass wedding done, pretty much. Accomplished. I believe we're going to accomplish that. And what else?
Improve my structural.
Improve your structure.
Structural issues.
Dad, do you have any personal goals?
Well, I
to
like
be more organized too.
Great.
Yes, and to accomplish more.
continue to
Just to be a
wind
better
down,
person.
learn how to
And not so
appreciate
long-winded.
things other than being in business, because I think
I like being long-winded. Sorry.
Mom, you're interrupting Dad.
I'm sorry,
completely.
Mike. I
Dad
apologize.
said he's going to be in business.
I'm just saying we're gonna try and wind down a little bit from business being too much of a focal part of the life, and trying to eventual retirement.
Yeah. My dad is also, I learned my hard work, I really think. I mean, Mom, you're a very hard worker too, but Dad is a really, really hard worker. So I feel like I learned my work ethic from you, and you just grind. I mean, even when you're on vacation, every day he's on the laptop, like checking the stocks and
Totally.
stuff.
Checking the
Well,
stocks. checking the
I'm
stocks.
always going to enjoy that. It's almost like a hobby for me.
I know
even
you
if-
love it. It's really cool to see someone who loves their work the way you do. It's really beautiful. Your clients, including me. And by the way, if you are looking for a financial planner, my dad is incredible. He has an amazing younger protege named Ryan. So you can feel free to hire them. They are taking new clients in 2025.
And we
So-
do Zoom meetings, so it doesn't matter where you live.
Anywhere in the
We
world,
we
you can
take
be
care of
anywhere
you.
in the world. So if you do need a financial planner, you can reach out to him, michael.lograsso@lfg.com. And what are your hopes for 2025 for the world?
Oh my gosh. I just hope that the country can come together and be less divisive, and that there can be, more kindness, love, and peace.
Yeah, Dad.
I agree. I think the country is divided, but I hope we can learn from each other and listen to each other, and not snipe at each other. I think everybody's got a legitimate view as to which side of the fence they land on, but there's a lot in common that I think we need to continue to try and work on. And as far as the world is concerned, I certainly hope that we can get some peace in the Mideast, some peace in Ukraine, and that everybody rallies together for freedom, and a better world.
Freedom.
Let freedom ring.
I agree. My wish for the world, obviously, I agree on everything you said. I hope we can find common humanity and understanding and find some core issues that we all unite on. Like, I think most people unite on that housing is a problem in our country and that we should be providing more housing. I think we can all agree that healthcare is not what it should be in this country. And so I'm looking forward to seeing what issues could we make bipartisan issues and all unite on. And more than that, just like hoping that our rights stay intact in this country.
Yes.
Not to make it dark.
Yeah.
But
That's
my hope
important.
is for peace, love, freedom, and that we
continue to move forward and not go back.
yeah, that's my dream and my goal. And that honestly, creative people rise up. We need creative solutions to the world's problems. And so we need you listening more than ever to unleash and express your creativity. This is the time. If you have any doubt in your heart that you are here for a reason and that you are meant to share your creativity with the world, this is the time. Creativity is the antidote to anxiety, and creativity, I believe, can solve all of the world's worst, most malignant problems. So go toward your creative passion. It literally makes the world a better place. And we just want to thank you so much for being here with us.
Yes.
We love you. Also, if you do want to unleash your creativity, on Saturday, January 11th at 11 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Pacific, I'm teaching a very affordable creativity workshop. It's $40, but if you sign up by January 2nd, you actually get $10 off. So it's just $30 for that whole time. I teach for an hour, and then I'm going to do live coaching for an hour. It's called Kickstart Your Creative Project in 2025. I would love to have you be a part of it. So definitely sign up. We'll have the link in the show notes. And
We'll be there.
Yes, my parents will be
Yes,
there.
and it's going to be an amazing class. And like Lauren said, a great way to kickstart your year. And I'm really
Right.
looking forward to it. Can't wait.
First New Year's resolution is join that class.
Yes.
Yeah.
So be like Joanne and Mike and join the class. Parents, is there anything you'd like to promote?
You need to listen to Lauren's podcast every week because it will only make your life more positive, and you learn something every week, make you more aware, and help you to realize your dreams and that you can accomplish your dreams and goals. So to me, it always is so uplifting, and she will amaze and inspire you every single week. Also, listen to her music on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your music, because her songs are amazing. She writes her own music. The beauty and the message that comes from each of her songs inspires me as well. And also, she did a cover of Genie in the Bottle that is spectacular. The very end of that song, big surprise, and you have to listen.
Ooh,
Yes.
what could it be?
And also, Lauren is going to be doing a lot more speaking engagements this coming year. And so, if any one of you need a speaker for
Yes.
your company meeting, or
That's true. I'm going to be speaking about a lot of the topics we talk about on the show. Going to be speaking about creativity and self-development. I already did a handful of gigs this past year, but that's going to become one of my main things in 2025. Just putting the finishing touches on my website, and we're going to do a relaunch in the new year. So if you want me to speak to your company, I'd love to. Also, if you need the world's best publicist, she's right here. Her name's Joanne LoGrasso, and I'm so blessed to have you both. Dad, is there anything that you would like to promote? Anything finally?
No, I'd like to promote everybody's having a good, healthy year. Go on walks. Listen to Lauren's podcast at 1.25. That's my
he
favorite.
loves listening to it faster. He
It's a
couldn't bear
little
to
bit
listen to
faster.
it
You
at the
don't lose
normal
any of the
speed.
essence, and you can be
I like
better
listening to
time
it at the
management,
regular speed,
which
'cause I
gives
like
you
to
time then
absorb
to
it all.
switch over to music and listen to Lauren's great songs.
Well, I love you both so much. Thank you for doing this. I know it was like a late night. We're wrapping now. It's 11:21 p.m.
I thank you for having us. It was our pleasure, our joy. And we want to thank all of your listeners. Merry Christmas, Happy
Let's
Holidays.
sing them. We wish you a Merry Christmas.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4.
We
wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I don't really remember the
I don't
next
know.
part.
I
So
don't
That's
that's
it.
a wrap.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
We're going to say it.
God bless you.
We love
Love
you,
you.
and
We
we believe in you. Talk with you next week, Creative Cutie.
Yay!
Bye.
Mwah, 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 mwah.
Bye.
Bye.